Hi, this is Kevin with the Daily Forex Report for May 27th, 2010. We're currently looking at the USD Japanese Yen daily chart. You'll notice during the last session we had quite a bit of movement finally after not so much movement over the last few days. So rounding out the week, coming up towards the end of the week, we actually did have a large spike, and that was mainly due to the GDP news that happened yesterday, which moved most all of the pairs. So in this new coming session, look for this pair to go as high as 92.11 and as low as 89.91, with some support around 90.12 and some resistance around 91.30. Alright, switching over to the Euro USD daily chart, you'll notice just the same as all the other ones, we had quite a bit of movement to the upside, and mostly again due to the economic news release. This pair, you'll notice, has got a pretty strong and clear downward bias, but over the last handful of sessions we're actually getting a lot more up candles than down candles, so that could trigger somewhat of a reversal, somewhat of a snapback of sorts. So definitely keep an eye on this pair over the next couple of sessions to see if this candle is the beginning of a new 3 or 4 session break, just like what happened 7 or 8 sessions ago. So look for this pair to go as high as 1.2578 in this next session and as low as 1.2142, with some support around 1.2204 and resistance around 1.2415. Something I kind of want to touch on in this chart before we move on to the next one, kind of stress this area right here. You'll notice that we have a rather large down candle, and we have what's called an engulfing bull candle. That's where the body of the bull candle, of the up candle, completely engulfs the previous one, and they're both pretty large, and this actually continued up for a couple of days. Well, look what happened in the last session. This exact same pattern has occurred almost to a T. I mean, we're almost the same amount of pips up on the top side as we have been on this past session. So if this chart pattern shows us anything, if this sticks at all, then we'll be looking for this pair to actually be moving up in the next couple of sessions. But as you know, chart patterns aren't always 100%, so kind of keep a weather eye on this. Moving over to the pound US dollar chart, you'll notice that we finally got some movement out of this pair as well. It's been moving rather sideways for a number of sessions now. We had a few bull sessions last, and then the bear sessions, excuse me, and the news release today actually caused it to spike up quite a bit. So look for this pair in the coming session to go as high as 1.4755 and as low as 1.4403, with some support around 1.4415 and resistance around 1.4633. Alright, last but not least, we have our US dollar Swiss pair. This one actually plummeted. It's the only one of the top 4 that plummeted this last session, and which makes sense because this particular pair has a USD base. So the gross domestic product numbers actually came out. We were expecting a 3.4, and it came out at 3.0, which is actually kind of bad for the dollar. So that's why this plummeted. But you'll notice the yen from the beginning of this video actually jumped upwards. So there's kind of a contradiction there. So we'll be keeping an eye on the yen because kind of based off of the US dollar, it almost did the wrong thing. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Maybe it could have a pullback, or could be the start of a new yen trend. So well, back to the US Swiss anyway. Look in this current session for the pair to go as high as 1.1642 and as low as 1.1374, with some support around 1.1467 and resistance around 1.1622. As far as news announcements go for this coming session, we do have a pretty high market mover. We have the USD University of Michigan Confidence Report, and that one's actually coming out at 9:55 Eastern Time tomorrow morning. So between 9:50 and 10 o'clock, we'll be looking for that to happen. And the interesting thing about this report is that the the previous is 73.3, and the market forecast is 73.3 as well. So any sort of deviation from the expected on the top side or the downside, like if it was higher than expected or lower than expected, should cause some volatility in the market, considering that the consensus on this particular news release is a high volatility market mover. So around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning Eastern time, look for the markets to actually move a little bit more. Maybe we will see some more corrections and whatnot. So let's switch back. I'm going to switch over to the USD Japanese yen daily chart just one more time. You'll notice we were talking about before how this actually shot up instead of following the US dollar and going down. I actually drew a couple of trend lines here to show you the actual trend that it was in before it broke this, and you'll notice that we're only about an hour into the new session now, but the thing's already coming back to this level of previous resistance, which is now we're looking to have it be support. So if indeed this candle is signifying that the yen is going to break this downtrend that it's been in for a little bit, which we're riding right on the edge of, then look for this. I'm looking for this to actually go down and touch this area of new support, and then if we end up shooting past this hard level of resistance here, then we could see the yen continue to rise. So we'll be looking for that within the next couple sessions as well. Well, that about does it for today. So until next time, this is Kevin. Good trading.